Chapter 2, Collaboration Information Systems. Hey, if you're not using some form of collaboration software already, I guarantee by the end of this chapter you definitely will. One of the great things about having Gmail administer our St. Francis email accounts is we have access to Google Docs and Google Sheets, and these are really powerful collaboration tools that you can use for group projects and you can even use for personal or work related. So, what are some key characteristics of collaboration? Well, straightforward, it's people working together to achieve a common goal. And we achieve this goal through feedback. Everybody brings something new to the table. We have different skills, we have different experience, and members need to learn from each other. We need to provide constructive criticism. This is the best way that groups can learn and innovate. Anytime I'm leading a meeting at work, I always try to bring somebody from an outside division in. We don't want a whole bunch of accountants talking about, accounting. Bring some fresh eyes and ears into the group. This challenges the status quo, and this really helps eliminate groupthink. And groupthink is my number one fear anytime a team gets together. It may sound appealing to have everybody agreeing and seem like we're on the same page. And sometimes that's true, but a lot of times it's led by complacency. People might not want to be a part of the team, they might not want to be here, so they'll just go along and they'll agree with everybody else just so they can go home early and not really have to think or be challenged. So, how do we give and receive constructive criticism? Well, we need to be very specific. Don't just tell me, I don't like this. Well, why? Well, look at the example here. I was confused until I got to section 2. Okay, great. Well, now we know that section 1 needs some work, but section 2 is great. How can we dig deeper? Well, let's offer suggestions. Consider moving section 2 to the beginning of the document. All right, great. This is good. We're getting somewhere. But we don't want to be personal. We don't want to call anybody out. Only an idiot would put the analysis section last. That is not beneficial to the team at all. We're calling out team members. We are making them feel less of a member of the team. And it just creates a lot of tension. We need to have positive goals. Understanding that teams will have setbacks. It's one thing to say you have to stop missing deadlines. And if it's a repeat offender, maybe we do have to put the hammer down a little bit, but we need to be positive. Hey, in the future, try to budget your time so we can meet these deadlines. Let's help this individual succeed. So, what are some criteria for successful collaboration? Well, the team needs to become informed. We need to be able to share data and communicate all of your findings. We need to make decisions. We need to solve problems, and we need to manage projects. One of the hardest things is solving the problem. And it's not the problem itself, it's defining the problem because everybody will define this differently based on our experience, our skills, and sometimes even our roles. What is your job? Your team might be confronted with a new advertising campaign. Well, I've never done advertising before. So the problem to me could be very, very complex and new, but if you have a very in depth advertising background, it's not an issue for you. So, what other alternate solutions can this team go? Where's our brainstorming? Let's sit down. Let's really flow path everything out. Let's select a solution and let's go for it. Now, how do we manage this project? There's 5 basic phases that we can break a project up. And if project management is something that really interests you, I really suggest looking into PMP, Project Management Professional. It's a whole science of how do we plan and execute projects. But at the lowest level, it's 5 things. We need to start a project. We need to build up our team, set a team leader, set rules, set responsibilities. Hey, these are all the jobs we have. These are all the people that are going to do the jobs. What's our project scope? Where is our goal line? What do we have to achieve for this project to be done? And do we have a budget? Your initial budget is a round figure. How much money do we really need to get this thing going? And a lot of times it's a little higher. although projects usually run over or under depending on how they're managed. So then let's plan this project. Well, let's determine the tasks. Let's assign them and really commit to a schedule. This is where a Gantt chart comes into play. If you're not familiar with a Gantt chart, to sum it up, it says, hey, section A needs to be done before section B, but section C can be done at the same time as section D. Think of it if you're building a house. Well, before we can really do anything, we need to dig and pour the foundation. We can't start framing the house until the foundation's done. Once the house is framed, we could probably do some electrical and plumbing at the same time. The Gantt chart really looks over the whole life of the project, when things need to be done, your critical path, what parts of this project need to be done to meet it on time. So what are some requirements for collaboration information systems? Just like we talked about in chapter 1, the big two, hardware and software. Without software, hardware is useless. Without hardware, software is useless. The great thing about information systems is they can live anywhere, almost on anything. You can have equally powerful information systems that live solely on your cell phone that would on a laptop. So we need data. Where are we getting this? Where is this data living in? Could it be Google Drive? Could it be Microsoft OneDrive? Could it be SharePoint? And what are procedures? Do we want to have clear defined roles of how this data is used and accessed and inputted? A lot of the times we do. If we format things the same way, information gets shared a lot easier. And finally, our people. Do the people in this project really know when and how to use this information system? If they don't, well, what's the point? You can have the best system in the world, but if people cannot use it, it's useless. A lot of companies use Microsoft SharePoint. SharePoint is a very powerful tool. In my opinion, it's also a very confusing tool for people who don't have a lot of experience with it. Just because it's a powerful tool with a lot of features doesn't mean it's particularly useful to the team if less than half of your people can fully use it. A simple Google spreadsheet is very basic, but if your team is efficient at it, if we get the data across, it is way more powerful than any industry-leading software. So how can you use collaboration tools to improve team communication? So I'm going to show you a personal example here. I use a program called Trello, and I'm going to walk you through a current Trello project that I'm working on. Trello is a project management tool that integrates with Google Docs. It integrates with Slack, which is a communication software. It's like texting or Facebook Messenger on steroids. What Trello allows us to do, it allows us to visualize our project, assign certain tasks in our project, and really just have a visual snapshot of where we send. So you're looking at my Trello homepage right here. Once a month, I'm on a team that publishes a newsletter for the Navy Reserve, specifically for the submarine community. Looking at this, we can see each one of our articles. Here's all of our articles here on the backlog. We're waiting for these articles. If there was anything that we were currently editing, it would go here. These articles and photos are ready. These can be put into our publisher file right now. We can open up each slide. There's an attachment. Here's your file right here. We can open this into Google Docs and edit it right away. We have our pictures. If we open something up, everything's color coded. I could say it's done, needs work. Hey, we got a problem on here. I can flag it, and then I could tag another member to address that problem. When anything's done, we can just slide these cards around. It's very easy to look at your information and move information around. This is really the future of project management, and this is the future of team collaboration. Programs like this make a daunting task very easy, and it makes it welcoming to new members, and most importantly, it's easy to use. Alright, so this wraps up our Chapter 2 video. Continue on to Chapter 3 and start working on some of your homework for this week.